Alright, let's get into it.
David Grush may have broken his security oath. Check this out.
Into this.
Got it.
Tell me about these crash sites that you've seen personally.
Yeah, a lot of them looked like what we saw. Some of the reporting dropped on Friday. There was a 1948 memo from the Chief of Naval Operations that discussed the flying disc pandemic that they were having, and they were enlisting help of the Air Force Intelligence Service. A lot of it was lenticular discs. Some was crescent moon shaped. I call it the flattened sunfish. There's a bunch of different morphologies that the U.S. government has recovered, from eggs to discs to crescent moon, boomerang type vehicles, and I got a small smattering sample of that of ones that have landed or crashed on the surface of the Earth.
The US government has recovered egg-shaped craft, disc crescent moon shapes, boomerang type vehicles, right? Now it's funny about the boomerang type vehicles because that's what I've actually seen in Warminster, Wiltshire around 2014, right? Is the V-shaped formations flying forwards like this, and then boomerang shapes as well, right? So that is something that hits quite close to home to me, which is funny. And now we also have the egg-shaped UAPs as well, or UFOs or whatever they were that crashed. Referencing Jacob Barber's experience between his crash retrieval program. So is that semi-confirming what Jake was actually retrieving is real? And this is quite an interesting bit of information that Grush has dropped again. It seems like he's firing out all sorts at the minute, and maybe being given the green light to kind of share some of this stuff that not many others are kind of, got the balls to. Bit weird.
I mean, honestly, he didn't say anything that was out of the norm from what we already know. I mean, the past month the government's been releasing low-quality videos of these supposed UFOs, so it's not really a surprise now that he's saying that he's seen these odd-shaped UFOs. I mean, it's something that we've said that we've been seeing for the past few decades anyways. It's not really anything new. Honestly, at this point, if he were to try to avoid these subjects, that would seem weird. Let me know your take on this one.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you live in the UK, you have to watch this video. Yeah, this is going to impact every single one of you. It has actually happened. The law has just been passed, meaning all under 16s are now banned from social media, and there are even curfews for under 18s. Stick with me. Let's go. This has been in the works for a long time. I've made lots of videos talking about it, but as of this morning, it is official. The apps being banned will be TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, etc. And for all under 16s, you will not be able to access these platforms at all, but they're also doing a curfew for under 18s. So once you're 16 and are allowed on these platforms, once it hits 8 PM at night, you won't be allowed on it to stop doom scrolling and people on their phone all night. Under 16s also will not be able to watch any form of live streaming, won't be able to use disappearing messages on text, pretty much a full restriction across everything on your phone. Now obviously there's a ban like this in Australia, but they're calling this like the plus version because it's a lot more detailed and extreme. And there's obviously been a lot of backlash about this. The kids aren't happy, obviously, but actually a lot of parents are very happy with this because for one, it's going to stop the dangers of social media, which we all know is real, and also kids scrolling and doom scrolling all night long on their phones and not getting any sleep. So it's a very mixed bag of opinion out there right now, but it is official and it's expected to come into place with full enforcement starting from April 2027. And Starmer actually said this morning that yes, although this ban is the law and people will not be allowed to do these things, kids still get their hands on drinks and all kinds of other things that are illegal. So of course, people are still going to be able to access it if they really want to. But this is going to be the law. It's actually happening. Let me know your thoughts.
I personally do not understand why a government has to step in and parent your children. It just doesn't make any sense to me personally. I mean, I get the protecting the children, if you will, but it's not really. What, they're protected until 8 o'clock at night where they can no longer use their phone? So throughout all of the time throughout the day, they're completely safe while they're using their phone, but once 8 o'clock and beyond hits, it's unsafe now. That just seems like a poor excuse to me. Do I agree with the curfewing and everything? Yes, but I think that that should be handled by the parents and owners of these devices, which is completely capable of being done. All these devices have parental controls on them that have very strict limitations on them. It's just a matter of the parents acting upon it. I do not think that this is going to do any good. I think that there's still going to be dangers on the internet, and I do not necessarily believe that this is for the betterment of children, like a lot of people like to say it is. I personally believe that this is a form of indoctrinated control to have your children basically accept that this is how the world works and the government can step in and do whatever they want whenever they want and take control. Us as adults know better, but kids growing into it are just going to accept it because that's just how life works. And I think that that's what the government is banking on. And truth be told, as a parent, you should have a sit down with your child and go through their device and go through the parental controls and also explain why it's not a good thing for the government to do this, for the act of taking your rights away, or as a parent taking your rights away, because ultimately, more than likely, that's your device that you paid for. There's a lot of things about this that I just do not personally see being okay as far as the government parenting your children. And I know there's a lot of people that agree with the government doing this. I'm just not one of them. And I don't necessarily buy that it's for the protection of the children. I think it's just a long-term game to have the children accept when changes like this happen, so that they can change more things in the future that your children will just accept. That's what I believe. Hey, if you haven't done so already, and if you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video like this 2 times a day, Monday through Friday, early in the morning and later in the afternoon. And for everyone that's made it this far, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
This is the result of a United States Air Force pilot pursuing a UFO in the 1940s. His name was Captain Thomas Mantel, and he may have been the first person to experience remote mind control from a UFO. If you don't believe me, watch this clip explaining the incident, and then let me know what you think.
On January 7th, 1948, Mantel was part of a team ferrying P-51 fighters from Georgia to his home base in Kentucky. Near Godman Field, Fort Knox, the tower asked the team to investigate reports of a strange, unidentified flying object. The planes were not equipped for high altitude, and all but Tommy turned back at 25,000 feet. Tommy pursued the UFO and described a large metallic object. At 33,000 feet, his plane keeled over and came down in a spin. It crashed and burned in a Kentucky field. The Air Force said Tommy blacked out from lack of oxygen while mistakenly chasing an experimental balloon. But in Tulsa, at Quentin Blackwell's home, the Mantels heard a much different story from a key eyewitness.
I got to the tower and I looked out there and there was that saucer. Boy, I called the base operations officer from downstairs, a major. He came up. He said, "You got me in trouble now. I've got to call the base commander." So he called over Fort Knox and had some of the generals come over.
During our conversation, Blackwell confirmed many of the family's suspicions and also provided new information about the real reason why the other P-51s decided to turn back.
Abruptly, he said, "Got in the tower. My 2 wingmen are coming in. We want hot guns, and we want them now."
Hot guns is Air Force slang for loading live ammunition into aircraft artillery. A National Guard wing commander like Mantel could only order weapons to be loaded when there's a verifiable threat and with permission from his superiors. So if Mantel instructed his wingman to load his guns, then someone else had to have seen the threat also. How did he describe the object?
He said it was about 200 feet across, probably 70, 75 feet thick. It had observation windows from the top section around. He moved around it again, and he said it's metallic, dull aluminum color. And he said, "Well, now he's trying to move away. I'm going to close in for a better look." That's the last thing he ever said.
The Air Force speculated that Mantel was suffering hallucinations caused by anoxia, the medical term for lack of oxygen. Was Captain Mantel coherent when he was talking to you?
In my opinion, he had control right on through.
Now, do you believe the Air Force's official explanation, or do you think something else a bit more deliberate happened that day?
It's a very interesting story. I'm not necessarily saying that I believe in the whole mind control aspect of it. More than likely, he was fixated on something very interesting and something that just could not be explained. And more than likely, that's what led him to engine failure. It's just, what was it that he was seeing? I mean, the military calls it a balloon, but what was it really? And is the military aware of what it is, and they're just playing dumb, and they're experimenting with their soldiers? Or is it really something they have no clue about, and they just keep using the experimental balloon story over and over again?
Here's more things I want to know. I want to know what the Antarctic Treaty is protecting. Signed in 1959, the Antarctic Treaty is the longest standing treaty in the world. And some of these countries love to fight, battle, and war against each other, but they've all agreed to take care of Antarctica. Scientific research and environmental preservation are the main points of what this treaty was supposedly created for, and this includes scientific freedom, peace, wildlife and ecosystems, the ice sheet, and the climate value of what Antarctica is. The Protocol of Environmental Protection for Antarctica, which was added in 1991, designates Antarctica as a natural reserve devoted to peace and science, always science. So mining and drilling is prohibited by anybody there to preserve this environment. Free and open scientific research is guaranteed for life for all nations, but countries must share data and results. Any nation can participate in another nation's expedition as part of this treaty. However, the treaty freezes all territorial claims of Antarctica and prevents any new ones from happening. Nobody gets to claim it, except for the people that signed the treaty that run the countries that are claiming it for themselves to use for scientific and environmental purposes, but your average Joe just can't go wandering around down there. Some things I agree with are the environmental aspects to protect the native species like penguins, whales, seals. The marine ecosystems and fisheries are very important. And of course, the plant life and fragile habitats. But of course, it's just an ice tundra. There's no plant life, is there? Because Admiral Richard Byrd went on television to talk about his trip to Antarctica and said, well, there's a lot of snow, but also there is greenery and mountains, and he saw things we didn't associate with Antarctica. But of course, Byrd died a couple years later, right before the treaty was formed and right as NASA was formed. But maybe that's all just a coincidence. The treaty has 56 signatory nations, and it's considered the most successful international environmental treaty ever. In Article 6 of the treaty covers everything all the way up to the 60th parallel. Normal freedom of navigation still applies. However, people have been turned away by military ships if they went too far in the wrong areas of the 60th parallel. The CCA-MLR part of the treaty goes even further. The Convention on the Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources actually covers a slightly larger area than the treaty itself. Oh, go figure, they added a little more into this. While the treaty covers south of the 60th parallel, the CCA-MLR also covers the area between the 60th parallel and the Antarctic convergence. And the Antarctic convergence is a natural oceanic boundary that lies north of the 60th parallel in some places. The total area this treaty covers in the water itself is 8,479,000 square miles. That's roughly the size of the contiguous United States twice over. I bet they see a lot of stuff going on in that water. Whales, seals, penguins, UAPs. Where's that 4K footage of those UAPs, by the way? I'm still waiting. Article 1 of the treaty, the very first thing, prohibits military activity, weapons deployment, and military operations. But it also adds, the present treaty will not prevent military personnel or equipment for scientific research or for any other peaceful purpose. And some of the excuses of people not being able to go explore there freely just to see the place and look at the interior was that it's so cold. We want to protect these people from getting hurt because it's got some of the coldest temperatures on Earth. They really care about us. Why aren't they stopping these people from climbing Mount Everest? Looks pretty dangerous up there, and there's still a lot of people dead on the top of Everest, but let's not let anybody get into Antarctica and freeze to death in the middle of nowhere, because they care. Speaking of mountains, I want to know if this mountain in Antarctica, which has been hotly discussed by many people online, is a pyramid. Sure looks like it has 4 sides, but of course, it'll be written off as a natural geological formation. Don't look any closer, but also, ain't nobody going there to excavate, dig a little deeper and see what if it's a pyramid from an ancient civilization that lived down there when there was no snow or ice, and if there's something there that we're definitely not supposed to know about. A pyramid in Antarctica, as my friend Luminary Lighthouse says, that don't fit, or does it fit, and we're just not supposed to know about it. But the people on this treaty would never lie to us about all this scientific military exploration, right? Antarctica is my new Rome, and I want to know. But what I really want to know is who on that list is going to jail first in America.
I still stand by my conspiracy theory when it comes to Antarctica being a trafficking center for the top shelf pieces of trash. And I mean the top of the top shelf pieces of trash. The mega elite, if you will. Names that we probably have no clue even exist. that is where they go for trafficking purposes. And I do not think I need to go into detail when I'm talking about trafficking as to what type of trafficking I'm talking about. I think that there are some high-profile people that do some dirty things in Antarctica. And there's a lot of people that combat this theory, saying that there's no way that people of power have time to do this. And I would beg to differ. How many times have we seen on the news that some politician had hundreds of thousands of hours of CP on their computer? How does a politician, someone that's actively trying to control a state, have so many thousands upon hours of stuff on their computer? That just don't make sense unless they have a lot of free time. And the people that they're sending out in the field are just their stunt doubles, if you will. They're basically lookalikes. I mean, how many times have we seen in videos where it looked like people in power were wearing masks? What if those people were wearing masks and the people in power are out in Antarctica doing some diabolical stuff? I'm telling you, one day the light will be revealed that Antarctica was a trafficking center for the most top shelf pieces of trash. And when that day comes out, I'm going to feel horrible for everyone that was involved as far as victims, but I'm also going to probably say I told you so on that one, because I really feel like there's something like that going down there.
Did the late Bulgarian psychic, the Baba Vanga, predict extraterrestrials coming to Earth here in 2026? The reason I started thinking about this was because this woman, a world-famous Brazilian psychic, predicts that extraterrestrial aliens will land during the World Cup on June 24th in Miami. So when I made videos about the Brazilian psychic's prediction, people in my comment section said, the Baba Vanga, she already predicted it decades ago. So the Baba Vanga was a Bulgarian mystic, healer, and psychic who passed away about 30 years ago. And she made a lot of predictions for the future, or our current time, most of which have come true. And yes, she did say there would be some extraterrestrial alien event with a crowd of people, thousands and thousands of people, that the elites and the powers to be won't be able to deny. Now, I can't find anywhere where Baba Vanga said this extraterrestrial alien event would be an invasion, but it is strange that Baba Vanga and the Brazilian psychic are both picking the same time for this to happen. Whether it's a UFO landing somewhere where people could see it, or extraterrestrials just announcing themselves to the people of the Earth, or even an invasion, which seems unlikely to me. They both said that some event will happen with extraterrestrials and UFOs where the people of the Earth will all know it happened. So what do you think about these predictions of UFOs and extraterrestrials?
Well, we only have 7 more days, so only time will tell on this one. Baba Vanga's had some other predictions within the past couple of years that were supposed to happen that I believe fell short. Don't quote me on that. But if this one doesn't come true, then I would say Baba Vanga and the other person may not be a reliable source. But again, we'll see. 7 more days to go.
If you missed my latest video where I exposed how Erica Kirk's parents are pictured here with the wife of a very prominent military Satanist, go ahead and watch that before you watch the rest of this video. So like I said last time, Michael Aquino, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino, is a high-ranking Satanist and also a very high-ranking Major Colonel in the military. And then I brought up the point how he looks eerily similar to both J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk. And then if you see here how similar Erica Kirk and J.D. Vance look to each other, it makes sense that Michael Aquino was possibly their father. Remember, Erica Kirk's parents are pictured here with Michael Aquino's wife, meaning Michael Aquino was probably just right outside of the photo. If you don't know, in satanic and cult circles, sharing your wife and sharing your partner is pretty much a requirement. But this Satanist connections to Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk go deeper than just facial similarities. Let me introduce you to Paul E. Vallely. Similar to Michael Aquino, he is a major general in the military. He also happens to be on the board of advisors for Turning Point USA. But if you look at the very top of this page, I had to do it through the Wayback Machine because Turning Point USA's current website has his name completely removed. Yet his Wikipedia page still has him listed as a board of advisor for the Turning Point USA. But very clearly, just back in June of 2026, he was listed on Turning Point USA's website. If you can find him on Turning Point USA's website, please let me know, because I looked everywhere and could not find him. It seems like they completely removed the Board of Advisors section. Maybe they removed him from their website because people started to figure out and realize that that guy had wrote this from PSYOP to Mind War with, guess who, Michael Aquino. So someone on the Turning Point USA's Board of Advisors was directly connected to this guy. And they wrote this paper about Mind War, which is like PSYOP times 100. If you read right here, Mind War is the deliberate, aggressive convincing of all participants in a war that we will win that war. Now remember, we are in a war right now against, I guess what you could call the Epstein class, Satanist, whatever you want to say. And they want to convince you and me that they have won the war and that the war is already over, that there is no winning the war for us. But at the end of the day, the Most High will always prevail. Remember that, and they will have to face for all of their crimes.
What you call the Epstein class, we call the top shelf piece of trash on this channel. So if anyone ever hears me say that reference, that's what I'm in reference to. And yeah, you can't deny that J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk do kind of look alike. It may be a bit of a stretch, but the backstory and lore goes crazy. Let me know what you think of this one.
Everybody is talking about these photos right now and sharing them, and there's wild theories going around from them being alien visitors to AI generation. But here's the thing. In researching these photos, when you look at AI, when it first hit, it stated that they were real, but now AI is stating that they're AI generated. So we really don't know. But it's quite interesting that there's top world leaders seem to have met with these individuals. And now this video message is now generating throughout the internet. So we really don't know. But take a look at it, comment below, let us know what you think.
People of planet Earth, please have a little more patience. You will soon be liberated.
I've seen these photos floating around now for a few days. I believe that they're fake. AI generated for sure. I mean, let's be real. If something like this ever happened and it's a frequent thing, this would have been leaked way before AI ever was released. We would have been seeing pictures like this floating around on the internet way before now. It just so happens that when AI really starts getting good at making fake photos, now we're starting to see this kind of stuff. I'm pretty certain that these are AI generated, but I have to admit, some of them look really good.
Has anybody else come across this? James Franco's account on TikTok? Yeah, actor James Franco is posting videos on TikTok. But not like the standard videos an actor or actress would post. No. He's posting videos that are actually quite different, with very cryptic messaging. Now, I think most of you know, James Franco's an actor, been around a long time, kinda out of the spotlight lately. And recently, he made himself a TikTok account where he's posting videos just talking. And like I said, he's saying stuff that best can be described as cryptic. And in each of the videos, he's wearing this shirt with 2 pieces of tape on it, and written across the shirt in pen or Sharpie is Bruce Robinson. Also in the videos, he says stuff like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know if they're coming. It's one of those videos. He shows a bunch of random clips right after he talks, including this. Somebody wearing an alien mask as an extraterrestrial alien. You gotta see it for yourself, especially videos like this one where he says, we gotta bring it into the light. Not describing or defining what it is. I just stumbled across his account the other day, watched a couple of these videos, and found them very interesting, but like I said, cryptic. Okay, I just wanted to share this with all of you.
I have ran across this channel, or I guess you could say this channel has what? Sorry, I guess I had a minor stroke there. As I was saying, I have ran across this channel, or this channel has ran across me. I do not watch any James Franco content on social media whatsoever, but yet somehow this channel found my For You page, which means that someone's paying a good promotion to have this channel pushed out to people. Now, I did not do a super deep dive on any of these videos, but you can clearly tell that they are cryptic and that it's some kind of promo for something. Again, I didn't do too much research into it because it's quite clear that it's a promo for something, probably a film. I personally do not think it's for anything nefarious, just really good advertisement, if you will. At least that's my take.
Here is another awesome piece of Bigfoot evidence released on June 5th, 2026. Instead of a video this time though, it's 2 photographs. 2 extremely close-up, realistic captures of what really looks like a Bigfoot. The uploader, the Bigfoot expert on Facebook, states, quote, "This is what I am tracking right now deep in the Mount Adams wilderness. Please pray for my safety. It's just me and him out here. Filmed in remote Washington State, USA," end quote. Seen are indeed 2 unique captures of a dark humanoid creature. We see one shot of it from the side, slightly blocked by some pine branches. In this one, it's out of the sunlight, in the shade, seemingly turning around, getting ready to walk away. It has the classic hunched posture, but not hunched enough to be any primate. It has a thick, muscular build, covered up by dense, dark hair. In the second shot, it's slightly blocked by the pine branches again, but we still get a really good shot of it. This time it's walking in the complete opposite direction, exposed in the sunlight. In this one we can see its hands and fingers, which look super realistic as well. We can see its defined upper back muscles, broad shoulders, and strong glutes. Its head also looks very large and dome-shaped here. So apparently the uploader is currently tracking the Sasquatch in Mount Adams, so it seems more evidence is to come. So I'll keep you all updated, of course.
It seemed like that Sasquatch had some cake.
It's so sparkly. Ooh. Thank you, Jet. That's the second one that just flew by in like 2 minutes. Heading south. Look, the sparkles. They're everywhere. Hold on, look. See y'all? The sparkles. Yep. The fireflies have finally come out. But you wouldn't know that, would you? Because you're inside, sitting on your phone, or your computer, or your TV, watching me. And I've been telling you that you need to go outside. Go outside. Touch the grass. Do it. Do it. Do it. Oh. Okay. Sorry. I took it a little too far, holding you up by your neck and forcing you to touch some grass. Yes, dark humor. Anyways, the lightning blah 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 blah. The fireflies are out, but you need to go outside and touch grass to see them. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember, Jesus loves you. Go outside, touch grass. Look at the world sparkle. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Hey, you say it's a jet passing by, but for all we know, it's one of those sonic booms people keep talking about. And alright, you've talked me into it. It's time to go out and touch some grass. And look at some lightning bugs, because we have some lightning bugs here. Or, you call them fireflies. I always call them fireflies or lightning bugs. That's kind of a either or. But all in all, it is time to go out and touch some grass. So I think that's what I'll do. Thanks for the motivation and abuse, Cloud. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. If today is your birthday, happy birthday, and if not, have a good day anyways.